Hi everyone, welcome back to Junior Jewelers. I'm Miss Julia and this is our regular video for today. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take either your regular beads or the ones that you've made or made independents with little loops and findings on them into necklaces, bracelets, or keychains. So you'll want for this video either the beads that you've made and or the beads that you were given. You might want your wire that's coated, your pipe cleaners. You might need your paintbrush if you're going to make any more findings, and you might want some of your cording and your scissors. If you're going to make any of your jewelry into keychains, you'll also want your keychain findings. So you can pause the video here and go get your supplies out of your bag. Now that you've had a chance to get your supplies out of your bag, I'm going to move a few things out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to talk about quickly are if you want to make a keychain. So for your keychains, if you watch the other video, you can see how to make a keychain like this, where you make a finding with some of the coated wire or a pipe cleaner, and you can gently loop it onto the keychain. You can do the same thing too with some of the beads. So if you want to put a bead onto a little bit of pipe cleaner, you can carefully fold it over for your end bead so that the other beads will not fall off, and twist the ends of the pipe cleaner together like this. And then you can go ahead and put a few more beads onto your pipe cleaner. However long your pipe cleaner is going to help you decide how big or how many of the beads you can put on. I think I've got too many. I'm going to take one off, and then I'm going to use my paintbrush end and do that same thing where I bend it over and make a loop and gently twist the ends so that my loop stays. And now I have some beads that I can stick onto my keychain. And you can use this same technique too if you want to use some of the beads to make a pendant. So now my keychain has two little things attached to it. I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to leave it like that. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to do a bracelet with either a pipe cleaner or the coated wire. I'll show you using the pipe cleaner, but the coated wire will work just the same. The first thing I need to do is make sure it's long enough to fit around my wrist and that I have some extra. I'll use that to help make the closure or the finding part so that I can take my bracelet on and off. First thing I'm going to do is pick one of the larger beads, because I'm going to use that as part of the closure or the finding, and fold it over like this and twist it on so that it stays on the end, just like how I did this one over here. And then I can go ahead and put on either some of the beads that I made or some of the ones that came in my kit. And I can do them either however I want, or I can pick through the beads and make a pattern, or however I would like my bracelet to look. You can either fill your whole bracelet with beads or just put on a few. I think I'm just going to put on this many. So the next thing I'm going to do is work on measuring my bracelet so it's the right size, and then I'm going to go ahead and make the closure or the finding so that I can take my bracelet on and off. So you might want your grown-ups help for this. It is easier to have two sets of hands. So I'm going to measure around my wrist and make sure that it's not too tight. So I've got a little bit of a gap there, because if your bracelet's too tight, it will end up hurting if you wear it, and that's not fun. And then I'm going to take my end here and gently fold it over where that bead is. So you can see I've got sort of a folded over shape now on this end. Let me put that back on so we can get a good measure on it. So fold it over, and then I'm going to carefully take my fingers and pinch it and push the bead through that pops off my wrist, and where I'm pinching it, I'm going to start twisting the extra pipe cleaner around. So this will leave a loop like that for the bead to go through, and then when you squish it a little bit, it will hold the bead. So I'll go ahead and put on the bracelet and show you. So there's the bead. I slipped the little loop part. I slipped that onto the bead, and then I'm going to take the loop and just kind of gently press it together, and now my bracelet will stay on while I wear it. And then when you're ready to take it off, you can gently push the bead the other way so that it pops out of the loop. And this way you can take your bracelet on and off. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to do one of the necklaces. So for the necklace, I'm going to grab one of the lengths of cord, and I'll quickly measure it around my neck to make it the length that I want. Make sure to leave a little bit of extra so that you have room to put on your findings. I'm going to cut this little bit of extra off though, so I don't need my necklace to be that long. And then I'm going to do sort of the same thing where I take a bead, I'll stick it on, and instead of just twisting like this one where I just twisted it, I'm going to make some knots. If you have issues making your knots, just ask your grown-up to help you. They don't need to be fancy knots. Just make 3 or 4 of them so that you can keep the bead secure on the end. See how it's stuck on there now? And then I can use the other end to thread some of the beads onto. Remember, you can use as many beads or as few beads as you'd like. And if you want, you can make it into a pattern, or you can have it all different. And I think I'll go ahead and add one of my pendants onto this too. On this pendant, I did it just the same as the one from the other video, but I added a few beads on before I made the loop at the top. And I can go ahead and poke my cording through, and then I'll go ahead and put on these 2 beads. And now I need to decide how I want to make the end of my necklace. So you have 2 options. The first one, well, I guess actually you have 3. If you make your necklace really long, it can just slip on and off of your head, and you can just tie another knot here, like poke the end through your bead again and just tie a whole bunch of knots. But you need to make sure that your necklace is big enough to fit over your head without being difficult to fit over your head. If it's too small, so the length of cord that you used is too short to be able to just easily slip over your head, you can make a little loop. Make sure it's big enough to fit the bead over, and I want a little bit more extra, like that. And then you can make a whole bunch of knots, but make sure that you keep the little loop in there. I like to stick one of my fingers in there, and then I can make a whole bunch of knots. And now I have a little loop with a whole bunch of knots that I can slip onto my bead. I think I might have made my loop a little too big for this bead, but that's okay, you get the idea. You'll just want to make yours a little bit smaller so it's harder to get the bead on and off. The other thing you could do is to take a piece of the pipe cleaner or the wire, measure around your bead so that it actually fits on and off of here, just like you did for the bracelet. Twist, and if you'd like, you can add like a decoration bead or 2 on here. I think I'll do just 1. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush and make a little loop on the other end and wrap the extra. And I'll cut off some of it because I've got a lot. Now I have a little finding that instead of making a loop at the end of my cord, I can go ahead and take the end of my cord, slip it through, and make some knots here. And now I have a little finding to push over my bead, and it will keep my necklace together so that I can wear it, and when I'm ready I can take it off. So to take it off, you just push the bead back through. Now your necklace is open. So you can experiment doing your necklaces with either your regular beads or the beads that you made, or even your shrinky dinks, however you would like. I hope you enjoy making lots of different pieces of jewelry, and remember, if you'd like to and your grown-up says it's okay, you can post a picture of one of your creations in the classroom. I hope you have fun making all of your different necklaces, bracelets, and keychains. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!